the rules of Noon Saakin. So we've learnt before in one of the previous lessons that the tanween is a hidden Noon Saakin, and hence whatever we're going to talk about in this lesson also applies to the Noon Saakin. Sorry, also applies to the tanween, because we're talking about the Noon Saakin. The tanween is a hidden Noon Saakin, so whatever rules we do here is the same for tanween or for Noon Saakin. Now, when the Noon Saakin is followed by certain letters, then the Noon Saakin is either, so there are four main rules. We're talking about the Noon Saakin on its own or in a tanween. When it's followed by certain letters, then either it's pronounced clearly, it's merged with or without nasalization, i.e. the ghunna, it's changed into a meme sakin, or it's hidden with nasalization. And even the changed into meme sakin is with nasalization. So we'll look at these rules in more detail. So the Noon Saakin or the tanween followed by, and now we're going to put up the four different rulings. So we've got clear, pronounced clearly, merged, changed, or hidden. So when the Noon Saakin is followed by a throat letter, then it's pronounced clearly, and in the Arabic this is known as idhar, and we've got an example here. So we've got the waw with the fatatain followed by one of the throat letters, the hamza. So it's pronounced just normally, which we call clear. So this is simply kufuwan ahad. So kufuwan. Wan is just normally said as you would expect it to be. It's nice and clear. Now the next one is if the Noon Saakin is followed by one of the yarmalun letters, i.e. the ya, the ra, the meme, the lam, the waw, or the noon. So we know them as the yarmalun letters just to make things easy. Then we have what's called merging taking place, and in Arabic this is known as the idgham. Now we've got the example here, which is yakullahu. So you can see the Noon Saakin, and effectively there's a merge taking place, but the merge is actually with the letter before the Noon Saakin is effectively joined to the letter after the Noon Saakin, but they call it merging. So here you wouldn't say yakun lahu, we say yakullahu. Okay, and we've got another example below that, which is jannatin wa. Now the tin is kasratain, so it's got a Noon Saakin in there. We've got the waw after it, which is one of the yarmalun letters, and this time it's merged directly. So you've got effectively the Noon Saakin in the tanween has been dropped, and the kasra on the ta is being merged into the waw, so it's tin wa. Now with these two, one of them has been done without a nasalization, the other one is done with a nasalization, i.e. the ghunna. Now the rule is, if the letter following the Noon Saakin is either lam or ra, which we call the laur letters, then there's no nasalization. If it's any of the other letters, i.e. we can remember it with yumin, i.e. the ya, the waw, the meme, or the noon, then we do nasalization. Then we have the changed. So if Noon Saakin is followed by the letter ba, then it's changed into a meme sakin, and in Arabic they know this as the iqlab. So we've got the example here, la yumbadanna. Okay, so after the ya is a Noon Saakin, and then after the Noon Saakin is a ba. So the Noon Saakin is actually changed to a meme sakin, and that's done with nasalization. So again it's la yumbadanna. And the last one is hidden, and this applies to all the other letters apart from the throat letters, the yarmalun letters, and the ba, which is 15 letters. So if the Noon Saakin is followed by any of the other 15 letters in the alphabet, then you do what's called hiding, and in Arabic that's known as the ikhfa. So we've got an example here. Naran dhata. Now it's done with a ghunna, but what actually happened there is a bit more complicated than the other three. So we're going to look at this on the next slide in more detail. So hiding then. So when the noon sakin is hidden, what actually happens is, so there's a few points. The noon is hidden in the nasal passage, a ghunna. You move directly to the articulation point of the next letter after the noon sakin. The gunna is light if the next letter is light, and heavy if the next letter is heavy, and this requires a lot of practice. So let me explain this with a few examples. So here I'll read this line. So this is Sayasla naran dhata lahab. Now the ra with the fatatain, so that's obviously got a nun sakin in it, and it's followed by one of the other 15 letters. So what happens is we're going to hide the nun sakin in our nasal passage, but instead of saying run with the noon, so instead of saying run and keeping your tongue on the articulation point of the noon sakin, we move the tongue or the organs in the mouth directly to the articulation point of the next letter, which in this case is the dha. So we say naran dha. So you get ready straight away for the next letter, and the sound is held in the nasal passage. So again, you have to hold your nose and check if it's actually in the nasal passage itself. Now the dha here is a light letter, so the ghunna was light. Okay, so I'll do that again. Naran dhata. Okay, so we'll do another one. So this one we've got the noon sakin followed by the fa. So we'll do the same thing. We'll do the ghunna on the noon sakin, but we're going to move straight to the articulation point of the fa. So this would be munfakina. Munfakina. And this example, we've actually got a ba with the dhammatain followed by a heavy letter, the qa. So the ghunna here is going to be heavy. So listen to the heaviness in the ghunna. So it's fiha kutubun qayyimah. Fiha kutubun qayyimah. And essentially, when we do the ghunna, we're lifting the back of the tongue to make it heavy, but really, although we're lifting the back of the tongue, we're going to the articulation point of the qaf, and that's what's giving the heavy ghunna. And again, it's held in the nasal passage. And again, this requires practice because the way you do this changes 15 times, because obviously for the 15 letters that follow the noon sakin, you've got to position your organs in the mouth to that letter. So it's one of the rules that takes a lot of practice, a lot of time, but once you get into it, it becomes very natural. You know automatically how to do it, and your tajweed teacher will train you in this. And that's the end of the rules of noon sakin.